let's see the mystery of the book of Job. Today's passage from the Job, book of Job, chapter 14, 7 to 12. I'll read it for you. But there is a hope for a tree. If it be cut down, that it will sprout again, and that its shoot will not cease. Though its root grow old in the earth, and its stem die in the soil, yet at the scent of water it will bud, and then put out branches like a young plant. But a man dies and is laid low, man breathes his last, and where is he? As water fails, water falls from a lake, and then a river wastes away and then dries up. So man lie down and then rises not again, till the heavens not no more. He will not awake or be aroused out of his sleep. This is the word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. So again, we're going to talk about the book of Job. I hope that you know basic understanding of what this book is about. We are reading through the Bible, as you know. This is June. Now we just started the middle part of the Old Testament. First part, Pentateuch. Second part, historical books. We studied the Nehemiah and Esther, last books of the historical books last week. And now Job is the third part of the Old Testament, which we call literature. So literature from Job to the Song of Songs. And in the literature section of the Old Testament, Job is the first book in the literature. Which means when you read Job, we read it differently from the time that we read the book of Joshua or book of Kings. Because the book of Joshua and Kings, history. Just they record what happened at that time in ancient time. This is literature masterpiece. It was written for not just to record what happened, but specific purpose. You all went through the English literature class, right? Theme, plot, what's the author trying to say? That's what you need to see when you read the book of Job. So book of Job, I believe many of you know about the introduction story, very interesting story. Plot is simple. There was in the land of Uz, there lived a man whose name was Job, which means it kind of start like this. Once upon a time, there was a man whose name Job. So it's like a story, right? It just talk about the story. There was a guy whose name was Job, and his character he's introduced very rare in the Bible, blameless and upright. I mean, anybody like we say, is anybody righteous than Jesus? In Old Testament, Job was a blameless and righteous. So this is Job's character. So the event, what happened was in the heaven. It's a mystery. In the heaven, in the kingdom of heaven, one day, there was all the host of heaven, angels gathered around the God. And God talked to the angels, and then one of the angels, actually God's servant, there was Satan, was there. The Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? He's blameless, upright, he fears God, he's the best, right? And what do you expect the Satan to reply? I mean, what's the character of Satan? He's an accuser. He proves all humans are sinful. He's keep telling God, you need to punish them. You need to punish these people. Everybody doing the wrong. That is a character. To Satan, who traveled the world and then to see that everybody's wrong, to him, God said, have you ever seen my servant Job who's blameless? So now he pushed back. He's saying, does Job fear God for nothing? Okay, I admit he's righteous, he's good. But why is he good and righteous? Because you blessed him so much, right? I mean, they say anybody who will go wrong when they receive a blessing, because you received a lot of blessing, is doing well. And stretch out your hands, strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. So he's not going to be righteous anymore if you stop giving him blessing. So God says, let's just see, right? Behold, all that he has is in your hand. Let's go. So that's the chapter 1 and 2. And now the Job's suffering starts. He loses family members, and he loses properties. He loses everything, and then he have the pain on his body, and then he has sores and everywhere in his body. So he become very miserable situation. That's only chapter 1 to 2 introduction. And up to there, it's not difficult. It's just like a fairy story. We like it. The main part of the book of Job is the second part, chapter 3 to 37. That's the main part, main body of the book of Job. It's mainly not stories about conversation. Job's three friends visited him, and now Job says, "Oh, I curse my life. Oh, I think, why am I suffering? I don't know." And this one by one, these friends, they arguing. "Hey, Job, why is the suffering? Because you did wrong. Don't you know God is righteous? The good people will be rewarded. Bad people is punished. You are punished. You are the bad people. Admit your sin. There's something hidden sin in your life." So they're like attacking Job like this. And Job responds back and forth, back and forth. Chapter 3 to 37. Very boring if you don't know true meaning of this conversation. For like 20 years, I read it very quickly. Because I don't want to hear they're all similar, repetitive argument, back and forth, back and forth. But when you go through suffering, when you want to pour out your heart, go to the book of Job. Pick up some passage from the Job's word. You really can pour out your heart through him, and you will hear what's going on. That's the most philosophical part of Old Testament. A lot of people say, mysterious part. It's not that straightforward. Because again, Job's position, I'm righteous. Why am I suffered? Friend's position, righteous cannot be suffered. There must be something you did wrong. What's the truth? We already know. They don't know, but we know from chapter 1 and 2 introduction, Job was righteous, but actually God and Satan have some wages. They contest. But is that really the reason of our suffering? No, not like that. And their conversation, again, chapter 3 to 37, very complicated, very philosophical. That's the masterpiece of a human life and suffering. And then chapter 38, God appeared there last to Job and friends, and God's speech. And at the end of that epilogue, Job restored everything. But that's a kind of a whole structure of Job. But again, main part is, the two main part, the Job's discussion, conversation with the friends, and God who appeared, who gave us the speech. So story is a two sides, beginning and opening, epics. But main part is a discussion. And there, something I believe you can pick it up. There's so many things, there's so many theses and books and then scholars, and nobody agree with the specific thing about Job, but there are a lot of production about the book of Job. So we cannot cover all of them, but I want to just bring the simple, just small things about what we can learn from this conversation today. Let's go to what friends says, okay? Again, the three friends, they were discussing with Job, and actually they are arguing. Look at what they say. This is one of a friend whose name is Bildad. He says like this: "Does God pervert justice? If your children have sinned against him, he has delivered them into the hand of their transgression. If you will seek God, plead with Almighty for mercy. If you pure and upright, surely then he will rouse himself for you and then restore your rightful habitation. And though your beginning was small, your later days will be great." What do you think? Does this speech well? The content is good. In Korea, there are a lot of Christian business and then restaurant. If you go, the most common picture frame on the wall, the last verse: "Though your beginning was small, your later days will be great." Everybody who start up business, right? They're small, but they all dream is, we want our business to be successful someday. So they all have this, big, the picture frame. Though your beginning was small, your later days will be very great. God will bless you. Hallelujah. That's everywhere. But unfortunately, that's not what God said. Unfortunately, that's not even what Job said. That's what Job's friends said, who will be rebuked by God later. Surprisingly. But again, check it out. Is there anything wrong can you find from this what Bildad said? Sounds like all right? Good people will be rewarded. Bad people should be punished. If you seek God, God will pour your blessing. This is all what we believe, what we want to believe. We are very small right now, but if we work hard, be faithful, we hope that someday God pour God's blessing, our ending will be great. This is what Bildad said. Okay? Another passage from Zophar. These are other friends. It says like this: "Can you find out the deep things about God? Can you find out the limit of the Almighty? It's higher than heaven. What can you do? It's deeper than soul. What can you know?" When I read it, already the rhythm come from higher than heaven. What can you do? Deeper than soul, what can you know? It's a perfect lyrics for the good Christian songs, right? Praising God is higher than heaven. He's deeper than soul. This is all what we praise during the Sunday morning praise time. That's what Job's friend said. Job, hey, Job, know who God is, right? He's higher and deeper. Its measure is no longer than earth and broader than the sea. That's our majestic God. So again, nothing wrong with this what Job friend said. If any of you want to make the argument, like you can write a thesis, I think they're wrong. What's wrong with them? The content of what they say, nothing's wrong. What was the problem? They talk about God in their thought. You know what I'm saying? God's supposed to be like this, but there's no experience. They did not really go through the life with God. So their voice is kind of empty and howling. I know about God, creator, he's greater and righteous. Isn't there anybody who doesn't know? But what is God really doing in your life? Do you really feel it? And then can you explain because through your life that how God is working? So they basically say about God, they're kind of trapped in their life, in their thought. And isn't everybody same like this? When you decide something, when you judge something, when you think about it, don't we all say from our thought, I think China is like this. I think the Republican is like this. I think the people live out there like this. I think he's like this. We all trapped in our thought. We don't know what's really they are going through. We just hear and we just judge everything without knowing truth. And I want to say, they're not wrong. Again, is anything they said wrong? They're not wrong. What's their problem? They're not wrong, but they're not mature. That's what I want to talk about. Being mature, being immature. Let's talk about that. Hey, years ago, I read the newspaper. It was the Huffington Post. I don't know if I think it was very the famous renowned article at the time. There was a pastor who decided, I'm not gonna pray one whole year. I'm not gonna think about God. I'm not gonna read the Bible. I will not do anything with God this whole year. He did it, and then he made this article in the newsletter. And after 1 year, he said, I think God doesn't exist. Though I didn't do anything, I didn't pray, I didn't read the Bible, I didn't think about God, I didn't die. I didn't die. Then no bad thing happened. If God is real, God must have punished me. God should have punished me, but he didn't. I think God doesn't exist. Anybody can defend God? What was going on? So he became atheist, pastor who said, see, whether you become faithful or not, whether you pray or not, even I'm a pastor, I didn't pray a whole year, nothing happened. To me, it sounds like this. I drove highway 100 miles every day, and whole year, I didn't get any accident, so I'm not gonna have a car insurance. Does it make sense? If somebody didn't crash whole year driving 100 miles per hour, what happened? Super lucky. Or his mother prayed for him a lot. You know what I'm saying? Or God was just gracious and merciful to bail him or protected him. What was the thing that he doesn't know? He knows what he did, and he just to see the consequence, but he doesn't know what really happened, the reality. That's what I want to call immature. Let's say more easily, let's say my son says, Daddy, I didn't do a vacuum whole year. I didn't clean my room whole year. My room is still clean. I don't have to clean the room. What's the fact? What's the truth? I clean his room every week, once a week, right? So why he didn't do that? I did that, but just he see what happened. That's what I'm saying, immature. So the definition of immature like this. Immaturity is not merely a lack of knowledge, it's living trapped inside your own thought, unable to see the world as it truly is, and consequently failing to understand others. That's what I call immature. Immature are the people who only know who they are, what they do in their just cause and effect, immediate, the result, but they don't know the whole picture. So because they don't know what other whole picture, they're not concerned, or they don't know what other people really go through. They're not caring others. Let's have a more, give a clear, the things about the maturity and immaturity to me. Let's say it like this. Let's say I ask my daughter, hey, daughter, please clean your room once a week. And how daughter answers? Daddy, I'm very busy because I need to study. Is she mature or immature? I want to say immature because she does what she's supposed to, her main job study, but she doesn't know her life is much more than that. She's not living by herself. She cannot just study by herself. There's a family life, there's a friend's life, there's many more things, the layers in her life, but she just focuses on one thing. I need to study, so I don't have time to clean my room. I want to say she knows only a part of life. That's what I call immature. And now let's say I go to my son. Hey, son, clean your room. And now son says, my sister doesn't clean her room. Why should I clean my room? Is he mature or immature? Is he immature because he have a cause and effect. He has a reason. There's a reason. I'm logical. She doesn't do that. She's even older than me. If she doesn't do that, why should I do that, right? He's not wrong in his thought. Completely justified for his behavior. But what's the truth? Now, father should clean the 2 rooms weekly, daughter's room and son's room because of that. That's the truth, right? Let's say time passed. My son now grow up. Just maybe I'm not talking about son. I'm not talking about my son really. I'm just talking about situation, right? Let son grow up, and one day he felt like a responsibility. Oh, this is my room. I should vacuum. I should clean my room once a week. Is he now mature or immature? I don't want to say mature yet. It's normal, right? He's just now doing what he should have done. Isn't that right? Just cleaning room. We just clean their room. We don't call it mature, right? But let's say my son start cleaning room. My daughter still not cleaning the room. So it's good that my job become half. I don't have to clean the 2 rooms a week. Now I'm cleaning only 1 room. I'm just cleaning my daughter's room. And Saturday afternoon, all of a sudden my son appeared and then, Daddy, give the vacuum to me. I will clean my sister's room. Today is Saturday. Go prepare a sermon. That's what you're supposed to do. Is he mature or immature? That's maturity. That's what I want. He now looking at the bigger picture. What's the bigger picture? More than his life, more than who does, there's someone serving me. There's someone make this family peaceful. There's somebody sacrificing in this world for my clean room, for this family go on. Now he's mature because he came out of his own thought. He came out of his own justification. He started looking something big and looking around. You know what I'm saying? That's why I want to say maturity. Parents are so happy right now. We give a good definition of maturity. We will teach it to our youth, right? This is maturity. Take your parents' burden, then we will call you mature. So let's go for the maturity, okay? Maturity means looking beyond your own thought, recognizing the labor and tears of others. Maturity means walking up to a spiritual reality far greater than your own small life. Does it make sense? We just talk about my son and my relationship, but how about you and God's relationship? You do what you're supposed to do, or some of you don't do what you're supposed to. Some of you are saying, I don't do that because other people don't do that. And some of you barely do what you're supposed to. Still, these 3, I don't want to call mature. But is there anybody here? I understand God. I know what God is doing. He's working so hard. I want to help him. I want to be part of his ministry. Then we call him mature. Let's talk about Job. Now, this is Job saying, okay? Today's verse. Man who is born of a woman is few of days full of trouble. He comes out like a flower and withers. He flees like a shadow and continue not. You have appointed his limit that he cannot pass. Does it make sense? What is it saying? But everybody know. Very simple thing. We all die. We like flowers. Is there anybody who doesn't know that? It's just biological truth, right? And you go a little further. He found something about tree. There is hope for tree. If it is being cut down, it will still sprout again. He found it out. I mean, you all know that, right? Some tree you cut down, you plant again, they grow up again. If you are cut down, you plant again. No, we all die. So he just found a very simple truth. Humans not like a tree. This is the righteous man Job saying, right? Are you impressed? I'm not impressed yet. If we be cut down, it will sprout again, and then the seed will not cease, the root grow up. That's about the tree. But humans, man dies and laid low, and man lies down and will not rise again. Some simple truth of this world Job is talking about, and he found it out in the midst of suffering. Why? Why he found out this simple thing? Oh, actually, we all die. I didn't know that. I didn't know that we all die like a grass. So meaningless, I could die anytime, any day. Let me ask this. Does righteous man die? Yes. Does a wicked man die? Yes. The righteous and the wicked, both of them die. We all know about that. So Job says like this, though I'm in the right, my own mouth would condemn me. Though I'm blameless, he would prove me perverse. God destroyed both the blameless and the wicked. You know what Job found it out? Where was the beginning? What was the beginning? God, why am I suffering? Am I righteous? Am I blameless? Why you give me suffering? Shouldn't I receive a lot of reward and blessing? Why the suffering come? Let me ask this. Should the righteous be blessed? Who made that decision? We all want to say, yes, righteous must be blessed. Yes, the wicked must be punished. Who made that decision? Who set up the rule? Is there any principle of a universe the righteous should be blessed? Then first is 60 years of life of people is suffering. Why was he blessed? Because he was righteous, he was blessed? But again, there's no rule righteous should be blessed. Righteous will die. Wicked will die. God let them, both of them die. And God doesn't have to bless them. God doesn't have to punish them. It's just, there's no rule. But if I have been blessed, actually it was God's grace. I didn't know that. I thought I deserved to be blessed because I was righteous, but actually I didn't deserve. That's what he found in the beginning. He said, why I'm righteous and why better things happen to me. Now his story changed. What? Actually, I see a bigger picture. Creator can do anything. Creator can do everything. And if I was blessed, actually it's his blessing, it's his grace. And that grace is shortly taken away, then I'm complaining crazily that why this grace is taken away. But actually, Father was cleaning my room last 20 years. I just didn't know that. I thought I was okay. That's a Christian maturity. We thought we've been okay and we deserve it. And when we're not okay, we crazily complain, why these things always happen? But if we have been okay, if our days was peaceful, God's grace, somebody was taking care of me. If you are okay, when you are okay, doesn't mean you are always good. You know what I'm saying? Okay, when somebody motorcycle like 200 miles and the highway, he didn't die, his mother pray for him, crazily crying. Somebody taking up your burden. That's the whole picture. And when we all were going our own way, what did our Father God do? He gave his Son, Jesus Christ, to cover it. Somebody had to be responsible. Somebody had to walk through it. When children don't do it, parents had to sacrifice it. So when we all thought we were okay, we're doing well, God gave his Son to sacrifice, to pay for the things that we should have paid. That is maturity. Go beyond your thought. Have a big picture. See what's really happening in your life. And if you realize, come back. Daddy, give me the vacuum. This is Saturday you work. I will help. I will do my sister's cleaning instead of her because I know she doesn't, but you do. I want to take some of the job. That's the Christian maturity. The one who go out of their whole picture and the one see whole picture, want to see who God is, what God is doing, and see themselves from that perspective. That's what happened to Job in the midst of the suffering. Let's pray.